really rubber hits the road in nanotechnology because it's a science and a variety of disciplines that are moving very, very quickly.
Welcome to Stories from the NNI. This series features voices from the U.S. National Nanotechnology Initiative. I'm Lisa Friedersdorf, Director of the National Nanotechnology Coordination Office. I spoke with Dr. Sarah Brenner, Associate Professor of Nanobioscience, Assistant Vice President for Nano Health Initiatives, and Nanomedicine Program Director for the MD PhD program at SUNY Polytechnic Institute. Sarah, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today. To start, could you just tell us a little bit about your work?
You bet. I'm trained as a preventive medicine physician. My career took sort of an unexpected but very serendipitous turn into research and specifically nanotechnology research. When I joined the faculty here at CNSE, I sort of got to write my own ticket because occupational health for the nanotechnology workforce was not really a thing yet. It was something that needed to be approached and figured out. So I had the opportunity to do that, which was pretty exciting. Over the years here, my research projects have spanned a broad portfolio, everything from basic life science research to clinical and occupational health, translational research, and different types of interventions that are aimed at improving population health and individual health outcomes. My main areas of work have focused on occupational exposure assessment, and that has primarily been working with semiconductor fabrication facilities workers who handle engineered nanomaterials as part of their job. We also work scientifically to develop analytical methods that will transform sort of outdated protocols for nanomaterial characterization into higher throughput, nano-specific approaches. The flip side of that also is medical applications. And with a clinical background, I'm always thinking, how could we use new and emerging technologies to try to prevent disease, to diagnose it earlier, and of course to treat various diseases and illnesses. So nanomedicine is an area that has kind of simultaneously been gaining a lot of traction nationally. And from my vantage point in a nano school, that's really kind of an appealing bridge for me to make as a physician. So that part of it has been fun.
You mentioned being at a nanoschool. Could you tell us a little bit about how being at the colleges of nanoscale science and engineering has provided a unique environment?
The uniqueness of SUNY Poly CNSE has allowed me to develop the type of program that I have. We are an academic campus, but we are partnered with hundreds and hundreds of companies and private sector personnel who work here at our facility. That allowed me to kind of go in with that model and that mindset that what I was going to do, I want to translate immediately into an industrial setting or an industrial application. For example, when I first came here, I was involved in the formation and operation of what we called the Nano Health and Safety Center, which was a $10 million center with Sematech and New York State. And we conducted a lot of different types of health and safety research through the center in constant communication and collaboration, actually, with industry partners. And so that does definitely give you a different mindset, a different feel, and a different sense of urgency with regards to producing something of value with your research. And for me as a physician, that fit very nicely with sort of my mentality. Because at the end of the day, people that are part of the group of workers that I'm looking at are like my patients. They're my North Star. The other reality in terms of this model is that it shifts you towards a mindset of how can we grow it and expand it to other industries and across the United States. We've started to bridge a lot of the type of work we're doing across New York State. Also, say in the last several years, have developed very strong partnerships with agencies such as NIOSH, the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, which has allowed us a more national reach in terms of gathering information and also starting to conduct larger studies that will impact more workers.
You've already mentioned one way you've interacted with the NNI, your partnership with NIOSH. Can you tell me more about how you've connected with the National Nanotechnology Initiative?
You bet. I find the NNI to be an excellent resource. How I access it, I look for information. I know it's been a great source for us in terms of educational materials, brochures, basic information that I can share in the classroom or with colleagues or with collaborators who are not initially familiar with nanotechnology. For us, for those of us who are deep in the trenches of it, There's plenty of meaty material there, webinars, NNI publications, news resources, and even information for our private partners, our industry partners, who would find interesting material for small businesses, for example. I think it also serves to lay the lay of the land with regards to who's doing what in nano. Certainly, it lays out a nice framework of who and which federal agency is taking on different initiatives. But also, where are people doing research? Where are their centers? Where are their user facilities? Where are their programs of higher education? One of the other fun things that we've done is we've submitted, members of my team, undergrads, graduate students, have submitted photos and videos for your nanofilm and Envision Nano contest. So it's that's a fun aspect, because we're not just all wearing lab coats at the bench top all day long. We actually are trying to make it fun and appealing too.
That's great. Thank you so much. You've already touched upon the need for interdisciplinarity, but could you tell us a little bit about what you look for in a student that might be interested in working with you?
Interacting with students is one of my favorite parts of the job. The common things that I'm looking for, namely, they obviously, in addition to having the intellectual horsepower and just, the grit to do it, the difference to me between a student, even an employee, or even a colleague that makes a good team member versus a great team member is their level of ambition and self-directedness. And I think that is really the key. Students who are very bright but not very motivated don't tend to be very high contributors. Students who come in and they're maybe even average students academically, but who are incredibly inspired and motivated and self-directed, do very, very, very well. And so that to me is a choice. And when a person makes that choice, they are unstoppable in terms of what they want to do, either with their degree, their research, or their whole career. So I'm looking for people who I can help develop, not just academically, but also as human beings and as future contributors to society in whatever sector that they choose to work in. The other big thing that always has to pass muster is this person a team player? And along those lines, I invite all of my team members to essentially meet and have discussions with any potential future team member, just to make sure that, this is a good personality fit. This person is going to work well with the whole team. And then lastly, if they don't come in with this piece, I hope that they at least leave my team with this piece. And that's the ability to think very creatively, very unconventionally, and very big. When they leave here, they know that there should be no blinders. There should be, nothing really set in stone that they have to do. And if they don't see something out there in terms of their next step that they're satisfied with, then they can feel free to make their own path up. They can blaze their own trail. Those are some of the things that I look for coming in, and some of the things I hope that they leave with.
That's great. I think you might end up with a lot of people coming to want to work with you. That's really inspiring.
Could I make one last comment that I just thought of?
Absolutely.
One other component that's very important, I think, from everybody's perspective, whether you're a company looking to hire someone or a researcher looking to bring a student in for training, is the teaching and education component of the next generation workforce. The worker of the future is going to require different skills and different talents and different types of experience than I think conventional education has offered. Really, rubber hits the road in nanotechnology because it's a science and a variety of disciplines that are moving very, very quickly. We have the opportunity to develop some new types of educational models that will really develop a 21st century workforce in a way that's globally competitive. And I think that that's a really important thing that all folks should be interested in.
I think that is just a great parting thought. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to this episode of Stories from the NNI. If you would like to learn more about nanotechnology, please visit www.nano.gov and check back here for more stories.